As you and I have been talking about improving our listening skills, especially as a leader, we understand the first key tip is to respect the other person. And we both know this, right? You pay more attention and you are more intent to the words of the person that you respect. The second key that's really vital is to make sure that we retreat from the distractions. That's what I wrote about in that article. Retreat from the distractions. And there's plenty of distractions, aren't there? Now, I'm not going to go through the whole list, but I do want to give you a couple of extra ideas that could help you really make this more practical. Minimize the distractions in order to build positive actions. That's what I wrote in that article. And you know, the distractions of interruptions is probably the big one that we stumble over most often. That's where you and I interrupt the other person with our own ideas, with suggestions, with questions, with the knowledge that we have. In reality, we ought to be paying more attention to where are they going in their conversation so that we can be better informed to lead, if that's what it's called for. You know, in his book, Principle-Centered Leadership, Stephen Covey wrote, he suggested that, well, let me just read you his quote. Consider the value of a private visit with each employee, a private chat with a client or a customer, a time when you give your attention and your attention is focused upon that person, upon his or her interests, their concerns, their needs, their hopes, their fears, and their doubts. Wow, can you imagine the results? That's respect. But in order to do what he was suggesting, we've got to do what we can to minimize the distractions, to retreat from those things that draw us away from that kind of attention. Nicholas Lupa, a great quote I wanted to share with you. He said, just being available and attentive is a great way to use listening as a management tool. Some employees will come in, talk for 20 minutes, and leave having solved their own problems entirely by themselves. And he's right. But in order to do that, we need to retreat from the distractions, close the door, get focused, and give them the time. You know, retreat also implies that we need to draw away from all the chaos, to get away from everything and everyone, to minimize the distractions so that we can make better decisions. It's when we can push everything aside for just a few minutes or to take a break that we get a chance to listen to our own thoughts, our own intuition, to have some time for contemplation. I understand making decisions in the midst of chaos, that's part of our job. But we become better decision makers when we can listen to ourselves. Give that some thought.